Deputy Lord Mayor, Jon Hunt, Liberal Democrat Councillor for Barry Bryan, Group Leader. Thank you for this report, Councillor Shah, and it's good to see the Police and Crime Panel particularly taking up the inquiry into the responsiveness of the police. And the report does ask whether members may have ideas for you to pursue in future, and I may overload you with ideas in the time I have available. But first of all, your inquiry into responsiveness. Clearly, there are huge issues in terms of the public perception of the police. And you'll be looking at the 101 service for a start, where I think was it 92,000 calls were abandoned in 5 months last year, and the average waiting time was 3 minutes and 50 seconds for a caller to get through. And that doesn't give us any indication of what callers felt about the quality of the response they received from their call. In addition, I hope you'll be looking at the provision of local police teams, the impact of police station closures, because what they do is they remove local police teams from their local areas, and there doesn't seem to have been a plan to keep police teams, neighbourhood police teams locally, and we haven't really seen much of a plan to rebuild them following the cuts to polices. Will your inquiry also be picking up the equalities issues, because they're deeply grounded in the way some communities feel about the way their relationship with the police, and that in turn is reflected in poor recruitment amongst many ethnic minority groups? So will you be looking at that as well? What about speed cameras, which in the last couple of meetings myself and other councillors have asked the cabinet member for this council and the combined authority lead member, and the Police and Crime Commissioner too has a role, and there's 3 parties, and they all seem to be dancing around each other in terms of moving the programme forward. It would be good if all 3 parties, including the Police and Crime Commissioner, took some responsibility to move this programme forward. And finally, there's one line in your report about a really controversial item you dealt with last year, and that was the appointment of the Deputy Police and Crime Commissioner, which the Police and Crime Panel voted against, and the Police and Crime Commissioner went ahead with appointing the Deputy. How did you vote, and what was your feeling about the way the Police and Crime Panel's views were treated in this respect? I look forward to hearing more about your inquiry that you're launching, because I think it is a really important matter, and there are real concerns about the relationship between the police and the public at the moment. Thank you.
First and foremost, Councillor Jon Hunt, thank you for your contribution. You mentioned quite a few points. The day-to-day of running of the police force is under the Chief Constable. In relation to your issues you mentioned about speed cameras and flyer, I will raise it through our Police and Crime Commissioner. In relation to the appointment of Deputy Police and Crime Commissioner, Deputy Lord Mayor, as I mentioned previously in my report, the panel act as a critical friend to PCC in relation to the appointment of Deputy PCC. The panel did send its recommendations to PCC, but it's ultimately is Police and Crime Commissioner's decision. And Councillor John, let me remind you that these powers were given to the PCC by the Conservative government legislation, and